Welcome to What's Going On, the weekly podcast and videocast of First United Methodist Church in Yankton, South Dakota. Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of What's Going On. I'm Pastor Katie here at First United Methodist, and I'm glad you could join me for this episode. Today, I wanted to shine a light on one of the ministries here at the church that maybe you hear about, but you don't really see, and that is our Wednesday morning prayer group. This group has been meeting for probably 2 years at this point, and it's a small group of ladies that meet every Wednesday morning at 8:30, and they pray for the church, for the community, for you, for all the things. And so I wanted to show you a little bit about who they are, what they do, why they do it. And so I took my phone up to prayer group this week and asked them a few questions about what it is that they do, why they do it, what they experience. But before I turn it over to them, I want to share with you my experience with this prayer group. This has been one of those things that I I had the privilege to say yes to. Marilyn Elwood came to me with this on her heart, that she really wanted to have a group that prayed on a regular basis for whatever was going on. And my immediate response was, yes, I agree that we need this as well. When do you want to do it? How do we get this done? And so it was simple as that, which I want to say that because I see it as my great privilege to be able to support the ministry that happens here. It's not often my job to create something new, but to enable the church here and the people of the church here to do those things. And so this is one of those, again, where my role was to enthusiastically say yes and support and to make sure that it got off the ground going. This group has become a very tight-knit, supportive group. In my own experience, it feels like having extra mothers who genuinely care about me, not as just the pastor, but as a person as well. They share life with each other as they are sharing in their prayers. And then that extends beyond their bonds with each other that have grown over time to the church and the people that they're praying for, and really the love and care and concern that they have for each other is open to everybody. And so I have been the recipient of their cards and notes and prayer pennies, and I have to say that my experience of it has been so encouraging. And I feel like so much of where we are as a church right now and how God has seen us through so much has to do with the work that these ladies are doing. And so my hope is that in shedding some light on this group and what they're doing, one, maybe you will feel that that's something that you want to be involved in. And I would say that if you would like to join them, they would love to have you. This is not a closed group by any means. I think it would bring their heart great joy if we had multiple tables of people praying on Wednesday mornings. So certainly don't feel like just because you see this great connection between these ladies that you would not be welcome. The opposite is true, and that they are the most welcoming group that I have experienced in my time. And then again, to just remind you that it's out there, that if you have prayer needs, that we are praying, that it is really happening, that we are really bringing those requests before God for you, and that we are undergirding all that we do here at the church in prayer, because we do believe it is important, and that God is listening to those prayers, and that our faithfulness in bringing them to Him is what matters. And so I just encourage you that if you are looking for a place to plug in the ministry of the church, that this is one really great option if you're available Wednesday mornings at 8:30. Now, this isn't the only option, but it's one that maybe the not being able to see it has been a hindrance for you. And so I just want you to see how truly special and wonderful these ladies are, and to thank them for their faithfulness, in meeting every week, their faithfulness and continuing to do this work, and the joy in which they do it. Um, I find that by Wednesday, often in the week, you're in the middle of the week, you're on hump day, and to come to church on Wednesday mornings and to have the first thing I see are these ladies, is incredibly fruitful and special to me. And so I'm so grateful. And if you have ideas of things that you would think the church should be doing or groups that you want to get going, please know that I am here to support you and to help you to facilitate those things. And then before I go, because I'm going to let the ladies take the rest of the podcast, don't forget we have probably two of the most busy weeks in the life of the church coming up here. This coming Tuesday, we will not be having Pastor Book Club. We just finished our Judges series. We're going to take a week off because it is Soup Kitchen Day. And so make sure that you have it on your calendar if you're volunteering to get your food in, if you've donated food, and to make sure you come and eat and invite all your friends to do the same. Also, don't forget Country Kitchen or the Country Store is also happening. So to get your donations in for that as well. And then we have Trunk or Treat coming up on the 30th. We have our Raise the Roof celebration, church-wide celebration after worship on the 27th. We've also to turn in our estimates of giving that day. Also, don't forget if you're interested in serving on leadership team or as an annual conference delegate to be turning in your application for that. We've gotten a couple in, but we could use a few more. So please be considering and prayerfully considering that. Also, I will be gone for a few days for my Board of Ordained Ministry role, and we are going to be interviewing 5 candidates for ordination. So I ask for your prayers over that as well, which I asked these ladies this morning to be praying for that. So without further ado, I'm going to stop talking and let you get to experience some of the most lovely human beings you're ever going to encounter. So Marilyn, this prayer group really started with something that was on your heart. So would you want to share just a little bit of what prompted you to want to get this prayer group going?
Well, I definitely believe in the power of prayer, and it just seemed to me there were so many instances and places and times that I felt we needed to gather. And when I came to you, I appreciate the fact that you just said, I'm all in, when do you want to do this? And gave me a time, and I picked a day and everything. You didn't hesitate at all, so I'm grateful for that. It's what we do. And bringing things to God, cares, concerns, joys, all of that. It's been an incredible group, and I'm grateful that you allowed it to happen.
So would you want to share a little bit about what happens on a Wednesday morning prayer group?
Sure. We discuss things, we take notes about things that we discuss, and spend some time just hanging out with each other, which is nice, and then we pray. We pray around a circle, and we use our notes to bring our thoughts and our prayers to God, and then we end with the Lord's Prayer. And then we take a look at who we have prayed for and determine who's sending a card or a note to that, letting them know that we have been praying for them.
Lydia, what made you want to join the Wednesday morning prayer group?
Hopefully we can make a difference in others' lives, and it's something that I could do. It's real easy to be here for an hour, and these lovely other people that are joining us are wonderful, and we have a nice friendship building that we enjoy doing this together.
And you want to talk a little bit more about the follow-up with the prayers? So not only do you pray on Wednesday mornings, but you ladies also follow up with the people that you pray for. So you want to talk a little bit about that?
We send a card or a note, or sometimes maybe even just a call that we have prayed for them, and that we are hoping the best for whatever situation they're in, and to know that our church support and care is behind them.
And where do some of those cards come from?
My sisters are wonderful. My sister, Charlie, lives in Sioux Falls, and she has taken this on as a ministry that she loves to do these beautiful cards. And so I'm so grateful that she does this, because they are just beautiful. She's kind of an artist, and so it's a blessing.
Yeah. Chris, what made you want to join the Wednesday morning prayer group?
Well, I have been a member of this church now for 6 years, and a lot has happened in my family in 6 years, and I am not necessarily in charge of my time. And so I was looking for a way to fit in here. There's so many opportunities for ministry that we can participate in and give something back that we have to offer in service. And I was having a hard time finding my space and a way that I could give back to the church, to our community here, on a broader sense in the Yankton area. And I would get quite excited thinking about all the ways I could plug in. And I tried several, and to no discredit of the groups, it just wasn't a good fit for me, because I can't always show up, even when I've said I will. And then one day Marilyn said, perhaps would you like to come to this, prayer group we have in the mornings? And so a year ago, I said yes to the invitation, and it couldn't be a better fit. It's a time I can be here. It's something, the power of prayer, my prayers have been answered all my life. And now I can share that energy that God's given me in a way that ripples out to others and makes a difference. And I have found a group that we support each other in those powerful prayers. And I can look around this table and know we made a difference here. I know from the people who have received our cards and reply back to us in some way that it made a difference to them in such a big way. And I know those prayers, because of that feedback, mean something to the people, whether they reply or not. That's not why we send them. We send them so that they know they're not alone in their need for healing. And it's when you have the big need, it's a lonely place to be sometimes. And so that's what brought me here.
And Chris, I'd like you to share, you've got something on your shirt today that ties in with this prayer group as well. So you want to share a little bit about that?
Well, these are called pennies, and they are part of a genre of art that I do, and it's called wool applique, and you stitch on wool. And so think about wool, and you can pretty much do anything with it, and I can applique on pretty much anything. And so during a season of really hard living, I needed something to do with my hands, and I happened to stumble upon this in one of my wool applique groups. Okay. And so when I needed to sit and be still, and then I'd find myself praying, and when I just needed to be in the company of somebody who needed to talk, I could actively listen, I could actively pray with every stitch, and pretty soon I had 2 big vases full of pennies, and I had no idea what I would do with them until a year ago. And now in those vases are pennies where every stitch is truly a prayer. And I needed to cover up a logo. Okay, and so, prayer penny, and then I've got prayer with me wherever I go, and then I started. It came to me, put them in a prayer card, so they, something you can hang on to. It's tactile. You can put it in your pocket. You can just leave it sit somewhere, and that's the thing. That's the other thing that I hear back, that people, that really resonates with the people who get them. Mm-hmm. And so it's not a, okay, I pick and choose who I'm going to give them to. They just go in, and they go where they're supposed to go. So thanks.
So ladies, what would you say is the biggest blessing of this group?
To me, it's the privilege of coming to God together with others, and also the privileges of sharing our lives. I mean, we have gotten to be able to get closer to each other, and this is a sacred time. We also know that sometimes we're praying for people that have not asked for prayers, and we keep things confidential. We have a prayer box that people put prayer list concerns in, sometimes signed or not. But it's just such an honor to be the ones to carry people to Christ in prayer.
The biggest blessing is that the interaction with the women around the table, and this is not just a women's group, we just are the ones who showed up, but that, the table, this sacred space, and I just feel that around this circle with these women, in the stillness of God, that we strongly feel that presence, and it draws us together. It's like a hug, and we have to share that. And I love all of that. I'm just so grateful for all of that.
Not that we need a response back from people, but it is awesome to get responses back and their gratefulness, and that we made a difference, and it's a wonderful feeling that keeps us going, I think.
I think, if I may piggyback on that, I think the responses validate that this is where we're supposed to be. This is part of our journey, and it's an answered prayer for all of us, that be still and know He is God.
Now, one final question for you ladies. If someone was interested in joining, or they've been contemplating, what would you say to them?
Welcome.
Wednesday morning, 8:30. Church will be unlocked, and we'll be here gathering together and settling in.
Yeah, we're glad to have anyone come join us.
And if it's something you're wondering about, that's a little nudge from God. And so we try to figure this out and make sure we come to somebody and say, would you be interested when perhaps you're asking for a prayer when you see us? Come on in.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of What's Going On, a video and audio podcast of First United Methodist Church in Yankton, South Dakota. We'd love to have you join us for worship on Sundays at 10 a.m., either in person or via our live stream, which can be found at our website, www.firstumcyankton.org, or by searching First UMC Yankton on YouTube.